This show is brought to you by Safety FM.
It contains strong language, sexual situations, and violence. It is intended only for mature audiences.
Finally, show with the balls to call it like it is. Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Countdown to audio torture.
The Rated R Safety Show starts in 3, 2, 1.
Let the eardrum pain begin.
Forget the corporate bullshit. This is the Rated R Safety Show with your host, it doesn't matter who the host is.
Oh, you know it. I know it. We all know it. It does not matter who the host is. Oh, yes. I'm still alive, just in case. Welcome to the week of illness, apparently, and I lost my voice earlier in the week, so that was kind of a fun time. And then welcome to Hurricane Week here in Orlando. So, I mean, well, kind of hurricane-ish week, I guess, outer bands. Anyway, so let's talk about it. Today is August the 31st, which is a Thursday, of course, day 243rd of the year, and only 122 days left to go. We are broadcasting from the Safety FM studios in Orlando, Florida, and coming across the multiverse known as Safety FM and hanging out with our friends and colleagues at that other place. Radio Big. Oh, yes, the Radio Big radio side of the house as we get to do stuff over there, so don't worry about that. So don't worry. We're not changing. We're not doing anything. We're not vanishing. Sorry about this. I mean, I did not expect to be ill this week, so that helped. Didn't help any factor whatsoever in that particular regard. So that's what we have going on here. And then outside of that, well, Hurricane yesterday. Outer bands. So school was canceled in this area because at any point that the winds start hitting 35 miles per hour, they cancel everything. So school was canceled because the buses couldn't go out. And that was around, the winds were at that speed around 4 o'clock in the morning. So there was all kinds of tornado warnings. So it made it just an interesting day. So it was terrible in the morning, not so bad in the afternoon. Life continued. And so I could not make it onto the air. So there you go. So we're here Thursday. So let's talk about what we can do today. Let's talk about what we can do tomorrow and go from there. I think that is the grandioso plan. So with that being said, why don't we talk right away about what the hell is going on inside of the world of the trends? Because I think that is going to be stuff that we should talk about. So let's do that right away.
Here is what was trending. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, so looking at the trends of the ends, a whopper of a lawsuit hits the popular burger chain, and two nefarious regimes straighten their alliance. We'll talk about that as we get into the shit list. Taylor Swift has set another record, and Nick Carter is once again denying sexual assault allegations. We'll talk about that as we get into the biz of the show. 5 late-night hosts have joined forces together to form a new podcast, and we'll talk about that because I saw that yesterday, and I thought that was pretty interesting. So we'll discuss that a little bitty. In that particular regards, and then we'll talk about the things that are going on inside of the industry. So we'll talk about all that kind of fun stuff. Of course, if you're not familiar with the show, it's easy to interact. All you have to do is go to callinradio.com. That's Call In Radio. Makes it pretty simplistic in regards to doing some stuff. So keep that in mind as we are doing it. And then outside of that, we talk about safety in the news and safety. So that's what we do. And we bring in some professional newscasters for them to cast their news. So as we speak right now, Mark Mayfield, waiting on the other side there, wanting to tell you what's going on. So do you want to make him wait a little bit more, or are you ready to go? Because if you're ready to go, we can do it. So keep in mind, we are a radio show first that does streaming of video, but we are a podcast as well. So you kind of get the mix of the X. Then we go into hour 2 and 3 where it becomes the music show aspect of the whole thing. So just keep that in mind. So there's a lot of spectrums here in regards of what's going on. So don't get lost. Don't get the Iggy, and we'll get moving for you. Sound fair? I think it should sound fair. So with that being said, let's start talking right away about what the hell is going on inside of the world of the news.
Here is the news on the Rated R Safety Show.
NBC News Radio, I'm Mark Mayfield. What once was Hurricane Idalia remains a serious threat as a tropical storm hitting southeastern North Carolina. The National Hurricane Center is warning of life-threatening flash flooding in the overnight hours. In their latest update, the National Hurricane Center put Idalia's maximum sustained winds at 60 miles per hour. A tornado watch was issued earlier for parts of North Carolina into early Thursday morning. President Biden says there's no denying the climate crisis any longer as his administration deals with several natural disasters.
I don't think anybody can deny the impact of the climate crisis anymore. Just look around. Historic floods, more intense droughts, extreme heat, significant wildfires.
Biden met with his cabinet and agency officials yesterday to discuss the federal response to Hurricane Idalia in the southeast and the devastation left behind by wildfires in Maui. Biden said that federal teams are on the ground helping people impacted by the hurricane get to safety, and he said the federal government will be there for whatever the states need. A federal judge has ruled in favor of 2 Georgia election workers who sued Rudy Giuliani for defamation. Ruby Freeman and Shay Moss sued Giuliani over his false claims that the two helped commit election fraud in the 2020 election. For the 11th time since June, Texas officials have sent a bus filled with migrants to Los Angeles. Brian Shook reports.
The Los Angeles mayor's office says it arrived late Wednesday morning. It had 35 asylum seekers from Honduras, Guatemala, Peru, Russia, and Venezuela. L.A. is a self-described sanctuary city, so Texas officials say they should take in migrants. I'm Brian Shook.
And federal vehicle regulators are demanding data about a secret feature in Tesla cars called Elon Mode. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration says Elon Mode allows Tesla drivers to use the autopilot feature without having to keep their hands on the steering wheel. You're listening to the latest from NBC News Radio.
Safety in a way never heard of before. The Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
From Feature Story News in London, I'm Ollie Barrett. Over 60 people are dead after a fire in an apartment building in Johannesburg. China's President Xi Jinping may not attend the G20 summit in New Delhi, according to media reports. At least 5 rail workers have been killed by a train moving at high speed outside Turin. And North Korea says ballistic missiles that it fired on Wednesday were part of a tactical nuclear drill.
Listen at your own risk. Rated R Safety Show.
There's been another public health scare for the GOP Senate Minority Leader. Trey Thomas reports.
Kentucky Senator Mitch McConnell appears to have had another freeze moment where he suddenly stopped speaking at a press conference.
Did you hear the question, Senator? Running for re-election in 2026? All right, I'm sorry, you all. We're going to need a minute.
This latest episode happened Wednesday in Covington, Kentucky. A similar freeze moment happened in July during a weekly Republican leadership news conference. I'm Trey Thomas.
The U.S. Government Accountability Office has announced plans to conduct an independent investigation into the decision to keep U.S. Space Command headquarters in Colorado Springs. The announcement follows a request by the Alabama Attorney General and several other lawmakers who expressed outrage after the Biden administration scrapped the plans to relocate headquarters to their state. The Alabama delegation claims the decision was in retaliation to Senator Tommy Tuberville's continued hold on top military promotions. American Airlines flight attendants are authorizing a strike. Lisa Taylor explains.
The Association of Professional Flight Attendants has voted overwhelmingly in favor of a work stoppage and plans to demonstrate at 12 airports. The union says members have been asking the airline for better pay and improvements to staff onboarding for years. While the union is in favor of striking, members will remain at work until the strike is approved by the National Mediation Board. I'm Lisa Taylor.
A North Carolina district attorney will not pursue the death penalty for the man accused in the deadly shooting at UNC Chapel Hill. 34-year-old Ty-Lei Chi is being held without bond after being formally charged with murder during his first court appearance. Chi is accused of killing a faculty member who also served as his academic advisor on campus Monday afternoon. Chi's next court appearance is scheduled for September the 18th. And a bar in Milwaukee offering free drinks when Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets lose this season. Rodgers spent 18 years as the Green Bay Packers quarterback, but the owners of Jack's American Pub are not rooting for the NFL star. Mark Mayfield, NBC News Radio.
Bringing you information you never knew you cared about. Rated R Safety Show.
Well, you know that here at Safety FM and Radio Big, we're always trying to look for life hacks. So with the busy season just around the corner, you might be looking for wholesome, convenient meals for your jam-packed days. Factor, America's #1 ready-to-eat meal kits, can help you fuel up with fast chef prepared, dietitian approved, and ready-to-eat meals delivered straight to your door. You'll save time, eat well, and stay on track with your healthy lifestyle. Refresh your healthy habits without missing a beat. Choose from 34 weekly flavored packs. Dietitian-approved meals ready to eat in 2 minutes. All you need to do is head over to factorsmeals.com/safetyfm50 and use code safetyfm50 to get 50% off. That's code safetyfm50 at factormeals.com/safetyfm50 to get 50% off. Go there. Do it now.
Is your safety training old, stale, and hacked? Is your safety trainer still preaching a warped version of behavior-based safety? How about safety training that actually addresses your hazards in your workplaces and is not standardized baloney from 25 years ago? Contact the Safety Wars team at safetywars.com or call Jim Posel at 845-269-5772. Remember, if you're receiving this message, you are the solution to unsafe workplaces.
We are radio. We are sarcasm. We are both combined. Radio Big.
This portion of the show has been sponsored by Private Internet Access, America's #1 virtual private network, or VPN. Even if you use incognito mode, internet service providers is storing your browser data and many times even selling it. But Private Internet Access, or PIA, can help you. PIA encrypts and reroutes your internet traffic through one of its own servers, hiding your data from your internet service provider or network admin. And with servers in over 75 countries, you can get unrestricted access to geo-blocked content from around the world. PIA comes with easy-to-use apps and browsers extension for all devices, a rock-solid privacy policy, open source security, advanced customization settings, and it was just ranked the fastest VPN in the world by PC Magazine. And if you sign up right now with PIA, you can take advantage of a special deal only for Safety FM listeners. Only by using the following link, you can get the digital privacy for less than $2 a month. Yes, you did hear me correctly, less than $2 a month, and an extra 4 months for free. So that means for only $1.98 a month and 83% off, you can get this service for you right now. That's so much more inexpensive than virtually every other VPN on the market. And if you get it right now, you can take PIA's 30-day risk-free challenge. You can try it out for 30 days, see if you like it, and if not, just return it for a full refund. So just go to safetyfm.com/VPN. That's safetyfm.com/VPN to try out the best VPN on the planet completely risk-free. Now remember, safetyfm.com/VPN.
Listen to our host of the Rated R Safety Show. Self-implode on our airwaves. Only on Safety FM.
Yeah, self-imploding does not sound like the most excellent thing to be doing on the air. So anyways, 15 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out on this lovely Thursday. So let's get into it. Let's get into the stuff that's going on because, hey, why would we not do that? So take a listen to this. We're going to start off with, some football. That's what it sounds like. After Aaron Rodgers ended his 18-year run with the Green Bay Packers to sign with the New York Jets earlier this year, many cheeseheads are hoping that the upcoming season involves a lot of interceptions, especially patrons in Milwaukee watering hole Jack American Pub. Jack recently announced that he'll be offering Packer fans free drinks for every Rodgers Jets loss this season, which we just talked about. But apparently, take a listen to this. Here's the catch, though. To get the free drink, Rodgers must start. A new tab must be open 15 minutes before the game. Fans must be present for the entire game. No food or top shelf liquor is included. And the deal is not valid if the Jets are playing at the same time as the Packers. What else? And if the Jets game is on Monday, September the 11th against the Buffalo Bills. By the way, that's when their first game is. So, I don't know. Seems like a lot of stuff-o as we are talking. So keep that in mind. So take a listen to this. More than 40% of college seniors with student loans are looking to enter the workforce after graduation expect to pick up side hustles and extra jobs to help pay off their bills and pay down their debt loads. For those graduating with loan debt, 70% of them say that they will be influenced their type of job that they'll take, meaning they'll look for whatever pays the bills, not necessarily what they want to pursue. This is according to CNBC. So as you hear something like that, what comes to mind right away? Because it kind of makes you think about some weird stuff. I mean, at least it makes me think about some weird stuff. Maybe I should say it that way. Because what's going to happen? Are you going to be willing to take what pays the bills, or are you just going to take whatever? I don't know. I get very weirded out about, going into the workforce and having all kinds of debt. So, college schmollage. The collective bargaining agreement that UPS drivers agreed to earlier this month will earn the average driver $170,000 a year in pay and benefits. Worth asking, what exactly is the point of the college degree anymore? I mean, $170,000 for you being the average driver at UPS. Hey, don't get me wrong. I'm pretty sure they're doing a shitload of work, but $170,000. Something to think about.
You are listening to a radio god. What? This has to be an error. That host is not a radio god. Anyways, this is the Rated R Safety Show on Safety FM.
Okay, so coming out of Florida, take a listen to this. A Florida judge is letting a lawsuit against Burger King move forward after the chain is advertising of its Whopper. Lawyers of BK failed to get the suit dismissed, which argues that pictures of the ingredients overflowing of the bun, that it appears 35% bigger than it actually is, and the double of the meat. Worth noting, the suit only pertains to in-store pictures. The judge tossed the claim made against TV and internet ads with similar pictures. I mean, when you're suing over retratos, over pictures of burgers, what exactly are you expecting to accomplish? I'm just asking the question here because I think it gets pretty interesting. Like, you just sit around and go, I got an idea for today. I think I'm going to sue, and I'm going to sue about this stuff that I have. I mean, I just don't know. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But there you go. I have some pictures that I think we should sue over because the burger doesn't look as plumpy as it once did.
Duh.
So there you go. Anyways, U.S. intelligence suggests that dictators Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un Jr. Have personally exchanged formal letters discussing plans of North Korea to supply Russia with artillery, ammunition, and expansive arm deals. The rep of the State Department says the deal includes significant quantities of multiple types of weapons that would be used on the front lines in the Ukraine, plus North Korean raw materials to expand Russia's own manufacturing capacity. This is according to Politico. So what do you think when you hear stuff like that? It kind of makes you start wondering, like, what the hell are we getting into that now you have these other things that are merging together, that are coming together that you didn't expect to occur. So there you go. Anyways, 4 gator hunters caught one big one in Mississippi Sunflower River over the weekend. The animal is weighing in at 102.5 pounds and measuring 14 feet 3 inches, set a new state record for the longest alligator ever to be recorded, according to the new Department of Wildlife, Fisheries, and Park. Mississippi alligator hunting season kicks off annually as of last Friday, or the last Friday in August, better saying. This year, the hunt runs through September the 4th. This is according to AP News. So, a lot of stuff to think about there. Lot of stuffo. So, let's talk real quick about what the hell is going on inside of the world of the market. So, listen, I'm going to tell you something. John is still around. I want to reference that. John Small has constantly been doing our market stuff. So he has gotten to the point where he says that he wants to step away from that, and I get it. So I have some options for you. I got Aaron Real that can give you some business news, and then we can talk about the market if you want to do that. So I'm going to bring Aaron in. We're going to give it a try, see how it goes, and then we'll go from there. What do you think? Like it? I like it. Let's do that. Here's Aaron.
American Airlines flight attendants are authorizing a strike. The Association of Professional Flight Attendants has voted overwhelmingly in favor of a work stoppage and plans to demonstrate at 12 airports. The union says members have been asking the airlines for better pay and improvements to staff onboarding for years. While the union is in favor of striking, members will remain at work until the strike is approved by the National Mediation Board. The cost of using an ATM is going up.
Much like health insurance, if you go outside the network and make an ATM withdrawal, it's going to cost you more.
Bankrate Chief Financial Analyst Greg McBride says ATM fees can cost as much as $6 because the bank assesses a fee and so does the owner of the ATM machine. Bankrate has been surveying financial institutions for 25 years, and the current bank-only surcharge has risen to $3.15, beating last year's record by a penny. The Biden administration wants to extend mandatory overtime pay to more than 3 million salaried workers. The rule proposed by the Labor Department would guarantee overtime pay for most salary workers earning less than $1,059 per week. The administration is aiming to ensure more workers receive extra pay for long hours, and the rule would also automatically update the salary threshold every 3 years to reflect current earnings data. Rent for a one-bedroom apartment in New York City is at an all-time high. Natalie Migliori has more.
A report from the rental platform Zumper revealed a one-bedroom apartment in New York City is going for $3,990 a month. This New Yorker's got advice for young renters.
You know how I look at it? Like, if you go to another spot, the amount of rent that you paying in New York, you can buy a house or mobile home somewhere for the amount of rent that you pay and own it.
Jersey City comes in second, but not very close, since a one-bedroom apartment is $3,280 a month. San Francisco, Boston, and Miami round out the top 5. I'm Natalie Migliori, NBC News Radio.
Consumer and business news, Aaron Real, NBC News Radio.
Okay, thank you, Aaron. So what do you think? There you go. That's, a little different approach than what John does, but hey, I wanted to give you a little different flavor. So let me give you some stuff that I found. The Dow was up about 38 points to close at 34,890 on Wednesday. The S&P was up 17 points to close at 4,515. And the NASDAQ was up 75 points to close at 14,019. West Texas Intermediate closed at $81 a barrel, and Brent crude was at $85 a barrel. The national average price of a gallon of gas was $3.82. Bitcoin slid nearly 2% on Wednesday, trading around 27,100. There was more than 3,200 flights delayed within, into, and out of the United States on Wednesday, and more than 1,065 cancellations. Friday night's Mega Million drawing will be for $85 million jackpot or a $41.2 million cash payout. So if you want to play the game, there's the opportunity to do so. So there you go. Let's talk about some showbiz news real quick. Taylor Swift is now the first female artist to hit 100 million monthly listeners on Spotify. And their announcement on formerly X, or announcement on X, formerly Twitter, Spotify called the milestone queen behavior. So there you go. What do you think? Are you kind of excited about it? So there you go. Anyways, Nick Carter is once again denying sexual assault claims. A new woman has come forward accusing the Backstreet Boys member of sexually assaulting her multiple times on a yacht in 2003 when she was 15 and he was 23. Carter's attorney told TMZ that the woman made the same allegation 2 decades ago, according to them, and the investigation came up with nothing to prove that she was what she was saying. Those the two women who have previously moved forward, Carter of a sexual assault, he has declined the accusations as well. So there you go. There you go. There you go. There you go. So take a listen to this real quick. Late night show host Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Fallon, Jimmy Kimmel, Seth Meyers, and John Oliver have teamed up for a new Spotify limited series podcast called Strike Force 5. The podcast features conversations between the five regarding the complexities of the ongoing Hollywood strikes, and there are at least 12 episodes during which the hosts take turns as moderator. Is currently available to stream. This information is coming via Newsroom. So there you go. Some stuff to take a gander. I'm sure it has to be a pretty decent podcast if you kind of take a listen to it. So take a listen to this. New York Governor Kathy Hochul is calling for her meeting with senior members of the Biden administration regarding the additional support for asylum seekers. Frank and productive. Steve Greenfield reports.
Wednesday's exchange of ideas in the West Wing of the White House lasted for more than 2 hours. Hochul says she'll continue working to secure expedited work authorization for even more individuals, along with expanded financial support for New York, and she'll pursue long overdue immigration reforms. Steve Greenfield, NBC News Radio.
Okay, thank you, Steve Greenfield, for the information. Baltimore City officials have released the after-action report of July 2nd mass shooting that left 2 dead and 28 injured in Brooklyn homes. The 173-page report suggests that officers' indifference may be compromised awareness, planning, and response in the event that drew the crowd of 1,900. Acting Police Commissioner Richard Worley acknowledged the mistakes and were made, but pledged to fix what went wrong.
We could have done so many things differently that could have helped with a different outcome, but we didn't. And those who didn't do that will be held accountable.
Mayor Brandon Scott says that people who should have done things or didn't share information must be held accountable. According to the report, and City Watch camera operators failed to notify supervisors as the crowd grew, and the third operators did. Hundreds of people had gathered. The report also noticed that life-saving efforts of police, including body camera videos of officers tending to the shooting victims and driving them to the hospital. Baltimore Public Safety and Government Operations Committee will be holding a hearing on the after-action report on September the 13th. Acting Police Commissioner Richard Worley addressed the suggestions of officers' indifference.
We need to do a more in-depth study of not just the Southern District, but the entire city to see if these inequities are occurring elsewhere.
Mayor Brandon Scott says the changes will be made to ensure that these situations don't happen again.
We are setting a path forward with the goal of ensuring every mistake outlined in these reports is never repeated.
So there you go. A lot of stuff going on right there. Take a listen to this. 2 men are charged with impersonating a police officer in Michigan this summer. Michigan State Police Police Lieutenant Michelle Robinson says that 75-year-old man from Coruna near Lansing pulled over 3 vehicles in June on I-96 in Kent and Ione counties using blue and orange lights and claiming to be a U.S. Marshal.
The individual took matters into their own hands, was angry with the drivers out on the roadway, and did a traffic stop on those individuals.
Another incident had a 50-year-old in Wayland man follow another driver into Mr. Car Wash on 84th Street in Byron Township to tell the employees that he was a cop, and told the other driver that to watch how they were driving. Both men are charged with misdemeanors. Michigan State Police Lieutenant Michelle Robinson has a message for people impersonating officers.
The biggest thing that we want to stress to individuals on the roadway is, one, don't take matters into your own hands.
Well, that's a good idea. Don't take matters into your own hands. Yeah. What she said.
We are now video streaming the Rated R Safety Show. I don't know why our host has a face for radio. Rated R Safety Show.
Okay, the Biden administration is mobilizing resources to support the states to the path of Hurricane Idalia. NBC's Bree Jackson report.
FEMA's administrator will be on the ground in Florida today to help assess the damage.
It's far too early to even estimate what the cost is. It's still unsafe in many parts to even go out.
The administration has mobilized 1,500 federal personnel, more than 540 search and rescue workers, have 3 disaster survivors assistance teams to help residents in Florida, Georgia, and Carolinas. FEMA said that it's prepared to quickly surge resources to states as they are needed. The American Red Cross is also positioned to resources to support sheltering up to 20,000 people. Idalia made landfall in Florida and Big Bend yesterday as a Category 3 storm. President Biden said that the states affected by disasters will get the resources they need.
My God, how can we not respond to these needs? And so I'm confident, even though there's a lot of talk from some of our friends up on the Hill about the cost, we got to do it. This is the United States of America.
So we'll see what happens here over the next little bit. No doubt about that. So I have a question. Do you have speed humps in your neighborhood? You know what I'm talking about? You know, the speed tables. Yeah, well, over 100 speed humps will be placed on neighborhood streets in Pontiac as the city tries to get people to slow down. Mayor Tim Grimmel says the effort has been in works for about the last year and that residents have had concerns about the speed for several years.
We've tried to increase our traffic enforcement through the sheriff's office, but we also want to put out speed humps so that drivers are forced to slow down.
You're really not forced to slow down. I mean, you can take a speed hump pretty high. I mean, if you want to, but that's a whole other story. The city budget includes money for putting the speed humps on 21 streets. Residents say it's about time. Pontiac Mayor Tim Grimmel says that is installing the speed humps in 21 streets. Take a listen.
We relied on city council people to select those 3 streets within each of their city council districts that they believe merited these speed humps the most.
So there you go. It makes it pretty interesting when you start taking a listen to that. Take a listen to this one. Some upgrades are coming to Pueblo Memorial Airport thanks to nearly $10 million in grant money. Greg Pedrosa, Director of Aviation for Airports, says that it's part of the airport improvement program meant to keep airports around the country in working condition.
Specifically, this grant is going to mill and overlay our primary runway, all of about 2 miles long of asphalt, 150 foot wide. It's going to give it a fresh face and new paint, including light fixtures and infrastructure for the lighting system.
Yeah, the grant money comes from the FAA or the Aviation Administration and CDOT. Pedrosa says the CDOT does what's called pavement conditioning monitoring and reports back to the FAA on who determines that Pueblo's airport is in need of pavement rehabilitation. The FAA is providing 95% of the funding, while the CDOT and the city of Pueblo is splitting the remaining 5%. Is expected to take about 45 days to complete with the construction starting in April of next year. The airport says that it will work on the runway one section at a time to not disrupt normal operation. Pueblo Memorial Airport visitors Patty Kilmer says that she's interested in the improvement since she started using the airport recently.
I always think it's good to have good runways. It's great for our planes. It makes for a smooth flight, smooth landing.
I don't know if it makes for a smooth flight, but definitely makes for an interesting time when you're landing. I mean, let's talk about that. That's for sure. Anyways, it is currently 33 minutes past the top of the hour, so let's go ahead and do that thing that we should have done like a minute ago.
Here is our main story on the Rated R Safety Show.
You know, I've been taking a look around, and I've been taking a look at some of the things in our lives, and taking a look at some of the things that that makes everything of our life so exciting, so fantastic, so so moving and all that kind of fun stuff. And sometimes you tend to forget about some of the things that you have in your life, and some of the things that are great, some of the things that are not so great, and so on. But as I look around and talk about these things, sometimes we should just be grateful for some of the things that we do have. And listen, I'm going to tell you, I get to go to a lot of places, because I really do. And I get to look at some of the safety systems that are out there. Some of the culture that's inside of the organization. Some of whatever word you want to implant. And it's not perfect. They're not perfect, because I don't think I've ever seen a perfect culture. I don't think I've ever seen a perfect safety system. I've seen things that work. And I've seen things that are better than nothing. I guess when I look at this and talk about it, I look at stuff that we should be grateful for. Meaning that we should be grateful that we have it, and not ungrateful that we don't have it. And it becomes very difficult at times. Because, listen, there are some things in life that we kind of take a look at and go, wow, this is kind of shitty. Let's not lie, because, not everything's perfect. But if you compare it to nothing, having something is better than not having anything at all. To certain aspects. So as I sit here today and have this discussion, be grateful for some of the systems that are there. They're not perfect systems, but they're systems that you can build on. They're systems that you can tie other things into. I have a hard time most of the time having some discussions on some of the stuff that we get to tie in, that we get to mix together, that we get to look into as we see other things. And at times, for some reason, our systems are not perfect and we complain about them, but sometimes we take a look at other people's systems and they're like non-existent. They're nonsensical. They're non-anything. So I go, what the hell are you supposed to do? Like, are you supposed to move forward? Are you not supposed to move forward? And I look at it and I go, if we look at some of the systems that we have in place and go, hey, it's not perfect, but it's my system, and we can build from there, it's better than having nothing at all. So I guess to some extent, it's like be grateful for what you have, because you could have something worse. And sometimes I know we always go, well, it could be better. Well, it's a good place to start. Maybe that's the way to look at it overall. Think about that today. It might take you places that you didn't expect.
Oops! What did he just say?
We at Safety FM don't always agree with viewpoints of our hosts and guests.
Now back to real safety talk on Safety FM.
Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to the home of real safety talk.
You're listening to Safety FM. We'll be right back.
It's always amazing to me on how technology changes, and so does the environment that we're in. And cyber criminals will do everything they can to take advantage of a system. If you don't own a home, you have nothing to fear about what I'm about to tell you. But if you own a home like me and you don't guard it with home title lock, you're inviting home title fraud. One of the fastest growing crimes. Cyber thieves around the world know our home values are sky high at the moment, and that makes us a target. The crime is scary simple. Let me explain it to you real quick. A cyber thief simply forges your name on a property sale form and refiles it. That's it. Now he or she is on the deed of your home and you have no idea that you're a victim. Then the person takes out a loan on your home and vanishes, leaving you to prove to the police that you didn't commit bank fraud. Home Title Locks puts a virtual barrier around your home title. The instant they detect any kind of tampering or anybody messing around, they help shut it down. Look, if you have equity in your home, you need to guard it the best way that you can. Some people might even go as far as guarding it with their life. Go to HometitleLock.com and register your address to see if you already are a victim. And enter the code RADIO. That's RADIO. That's the code RADIO for 30 days free of protection. That's code RADIO at HometitleLock.com.
Radio Big. Streaming 24/7 at RadioBig.fm.
So do you feel like you're missing out on what everyone is starting to do now, that live streaming thing, and you don't know where to start or what to do? I have the resource and the information to provide to you in regards on how you can stream onto 40 social media platforms all at one time. Yes, that's 40 social media platforms all at one time. All you'll need to do is go to safetyfm.com/1. That's safetyfm.com/1. That's ONE. So just in case, and you'll be able to start live streaming just like you're hearing people starting to do right now, up to 40 social media platforms.
Radio Big. USA, Canada, UK.
Let's start using cutting-edge warp speed 5G technology with your cell phone. Let me tell you about my friends at mobilemobile.io. They have an ultra-fast 4G LTE and 5G network that covers 99% of Americans. So they've got you covered everywhere. Think about it for a moment. You have the opportunity to take a test drive for 10 days with unlimited talk, text, and premium data. What is premium data? Premium data is an allotment of a cellular data that you receive from a higher priority on the network. You won't get throttled like you will with some of those, well, non-brand service providers. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to mobilemobile.io. That's mobilemobile.io to start your 10-day free trial.
Show, and they just make fun of a whole bunch of people. It's just too funny. It's too stupid.
Rated R Safety Show.
There you go. 42 minutes past the top of the hour as you and I are hanging out. This is the Rated R Safety Show, hour number one of the Jay Allen in the Morning Show. What you were listening to right there? Well, that was some Wave Haven. Yeah, some Wave Haven with We Come Alive on the Rated R Safety Show. We always like to play some music here. You can give it a little streamer-eamer action. Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music. You know, the streamer-eamers. That's what I like to call them. So some stuff to do if you're interested in doing so. So there you go. So let's get into the move and the groove of the things that we talk about. So let's do this real quick. Let's get into it. Let me bring this down. We'd like to thank Wave Haven for allowing us to play We Come Alive here on the Rated R Safety Show. So let me tell you real quick about the most important thing that I will ever tell you in my lifetime, and that's about my friends at To Write Love on Her Arms. Seriously, I'm not joking as I say this. No matter what you're facing, you deserve to be connected to help. We want you to know that people have been where you are now and things can get better. Healing is possible. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to twloha.com and click on the section that says Find Help. Listen, there's all kinds of resources on the website. There is all kinds of information that is readily available for you. And you can take a look around. It's all the information and go, hey, this is there, that is there. Let me see how I can actually get this to work for me. Resource away is how I look at it in regards of what you can do on the website. twloha.com. Section that says Find Help. twloha.com. To write love on her arms. Just saying, listen, we all need a little help sometimes. There is no doubt about that. You'd be amazed on how far some of these things can take you. Anyways, take a listen to this. It turns out that laughter really is the best medicine, at least for heart patients. Scientists in Brazil say that a simple chuckle is enough to expand the cardiac tissue and increase the flow of oxygen throughout your body, thereby providing the exercise to a weak heart. In a study, they set out to prove that laughter therapy can improve the cardiovascular health and ease symptoms of heart disease. They've recruited 26 adults, average age 64, and they have been diagnosed with coronary artery disease. Each week for 3 months, half of the group watched comedy shows while the other half watched serious documentaries. What happened? The group that watched the comedy showed a 10% advancement in the amount of oxygen that their heart could pump, plus improvements in their arteries' ability to expand. The researchers suggested that laughter therapy would be used in patients at risk of heart problems. I just want you to show you that that we're watching, because I'm seeking mainly LOL-worthy shows these days. Wouldn't you see that the same results by making them watch movies that scared the bejesus out of them? I mean, I'm just saying, what, is that too much? I mean, I'm just asking the question. I mean, if you were watching shit that scared the shit out of you, how would it work? I mean, wouldn't it have the same impact?
Another pitfall of our society. Rated R Safety Show.
I mean, one would say that. I mean, one would have to take that as a guess. Anyways, new to you and me, it just might be the next wording. A new puzzle called Connections became available through the New York Times this week following the summer trial, where it became a second most played game behind Wordle. Despite the minimal promotion, Connections, which also will be played on desktop and mobile, and word association game, players are presented with 16 words, and they could be challenged. They can challenge to a group of them together 4 different topics. Players have 4 chances to solve the puzzle before losing connection showed up in the Times Games app, and the new app is under the Play tab beginning this week. And as if anything is like Wordle, it shows up over at social media feeds over the next week as well. So there you go. Also, Google is testing a new feature that will allow us to search for songs on YouTube simply by humming or singing. Android users who are also part of the beta group can toggle the new feature from YouTube voice search and hum the record that they're searching for 3 or more seconds. Once the song has been identified by the software, YouTube will send the users relevant official music content, user-generated videos, and shorts featuring search songs on the YouTube app. Right now, only a small portion of Android users have the feature, but if successful, it'll make it available to everyone. Identify my song singing challenge accepted. It's kind of interesting because yesterday I'm sitting around hanging out with my father, and he's telling me about some song that he likes, and he can't remember the name exactly of the song. And, you know, you kind of go through the singing, humming aspect of the world before the song is identified on what the hell is going on. So that made it some fun times in trying to figure some of that out. I love when my headphones partially go dead, because then I don't ever know what to do. Because it's like, if I change to the big cans, how is that going to look? But who cares? It's not about looks. It's about actually hearing what the hell's going on. That's for sure. So anyways, with that being said, let's continue talking about some other things, because, hey, why would we not do that? Take a listen to this. First Lady Jill Biden is gathering union support in Chicago ahead of the Labor Day weekend. The First Lady spoke yesterday to the Chicago Federation of Laborers, calling them the backbone of the country.
You're advocates, you're organizers, you're union members. You stand together and fight for the communities you care about, and you never give up.
Biden says that the union at the center of the President Biden's economic plan, Bidenomics, she credited his administration with creating millions of jobs, lowering unemployment, rebuilding roads, and expanding clean energy and manufacturing. So there you go. Keeping it in Illinois for just a moment, Governor Pritzker and Mayor Brandon Johnson are seeking help from the federal government in dealing with migrant crisis and labor shortages in Chicago. Pritzker has joined by Johnson and other Democratic leaders yesterday in calling for President Biden to approve work permit for asylum seekers in Chicago.
We have the jobs. We have the people. We just need authorization from Washington.
Currently, migrants can't apply for work permits until 5 months after they've applied for asylum in the U.S. Officials have emphasized that Chicago would be unable to continue supporting the growing migrant population in the city. So there you go. Some things to think about as we are talking. For sure. Take a listen to this one. Howard County School Superintendent Michael Mastriano continues to apologize this week for the school bus problems. During Wednesday's press conference, he addresses issues, saying that full forensic audit will be conducted to prevent future problems. This is coming out of Maryland.
Quite frankly, I am devastated. We will do better, and we need to do better, because the children in our county are counting on us to do better.
Some of the buses were late and failed to show up on Monday for the first day of classes, and 20 school bus routes have been canceled through this week due to driver call-outs. Mattiano says that the problem are a result of contractors being given bad information, causing the drivers to become lost on their routes. In addition, some bus routes information provided to some of the drivers was different than what was given to the families and schools. Howard County Superintendent Michael Mattiano apologizes for the school bus problems.
I apologize from the bottom of my heart for the inconvenience and the challenges and the diminishment of excitement on the first day of school.
Take a listen to this one real quick. The first person allegedly that entered the Capitol building during January the 6th riot is under arrest. Mark Fayfield has more info.
Brett Rotella of North Carolina is accused of leading a large group of rioters into the southwest terrace tunnel of the building and charging U.S. Capitol Police. He faces charges of felony obstruction and assaulting a police officer. The Justice Department says the FBI was tipped off about Rotella's identity through online reports and confirmed his identity after following him to a grocery store. He made his initial court appearance Wednesday in North Carolina. I'm Mark Mayfield.
After being followed in a grocery store. That's something. Anyways, with that being said, let's make it a little bit happier. Let's bring some John Smalls in for him to tell us about the Motivation Minute.
The Motivation Minute is courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. Today's quote was submitted by Allison. B.B. King said, "The beautiful thing about learning is no one can take it away from you." What a great quote. Some people think you need to go to school to learn, but that's just not the case. For many people, higher education learning is just not part of their life. But learning is something we all do every single day. We learn from experiences that we have every day. And some of us learn from our mistakes. Some are a little smarter and learn by watching other people make mistakes. Make sure you pay attention every day. You're getting a free education daily by just paying attention. So make sure you take it all in and receive the education that nobody can take away from you. This has been today's Motivation Minute, courtesy of InsuranceChicken.com. They're known for insurance quotes. I'm John Small. Thanks for listening. Your favorite motivational quotes can be submitted for upcoming programs at motivationminute.org.
A new study says the majority of dog owners are skeptical of vaccines, including the rabies shot.
Published in the medical journal Vaccine, it finds that 53% of dog owners have concerns about the safety or necessity of vaccines for their four-legged friends. More than a third also believe vaccines could cause cognitive issues in dogs, leading to autism, a theory that has no scientific evidence. I'm Brian Shook.
The South Carolina Supreme Court says it will not reconsider a recent decision upholding the state's fetal heartbeat law. Last week, the High Court upheld a measure that bans abortion after a fetal heartbeat is detected. And on Tuesday, the state justices rejected a request by Planned Parenthood and other abortion providers to reconsider. Planned Parenthood says it will continue to fight to restore abortion access for all South Carolinians. Health updates, Sarah Lee Kessler, NBC News Radio.
Okay, thank you, Sarah, for that information right there. Let's talk real quick about some things that happened back on this date. If we take a look back to 2009, Disney buys Marvel Entertainment for $4.24 billion. $4.24 billion. So there you go. That happened back in 2009. There you go. So let's talk about some birthdays that are going on today. Let's see. Brittany Mahomes turns 28. Athena turns 35. Sarah Jones, 38. Mickey James, 44. Jeff Hardy, 46. Sarah Ramirez, 48. Mark Webb, 49. Chris Tucker, 52. Debbie Gibson turns 53. Richard Gere turns 74. And Van Morrison, yeah, he turned 78 today. If you're looking at some days of the year to celebrate, well, we have some of those for you. We Memoir Day, International Overdose Awareness Day, Love Litigation Lawyers Day, National Trail Mix Day, and National Eat Outside Day. So there you go. Are you going to eat outside? Maybe we should talk about that. Maybe that's part of the plan of some things to do today. That's for sure. Anyways, before I get too far away from this, let's talk about it because it's on the verge. We're almost here right now. Let's talk about the Conklin Conference that's coming up. This is the Human and Organizational Performance Conference that is taking place in Orlando on September the 27th through the 29th. We would love to see you there. You'll have the opportunity to see Todd Conklin, Jen Long, Bob Edwards, Mark Yeston, and Andrea Baker over those few days talking about human and organizational performance and how you can apply it to your work. To find out more information, all you have to do is go to safetyfm.io. I'll be there for those couple of days doing the things that I get to do, the hosting side of the house. So that will be fun as we are hanging out, doing all of our stuffo. So with that being said, safetyfm.io, September the 27th through the 29th. If you want to come down to good old Orlando and hang out with us, we would love to see you there. Anyways, with that being said, let's do some other stuff real quick before we get you out of here. Let me give you a random joke for today. We've all heard that million monkeys banging on a million typewriters will eventually reproduce the entire works of Shakespeare. Now, thanks to the internet, we know that's not true. What else do we have? If you need a phone starter for today, try this. What is the biggest difference between school now and when you went? Question. According to a new survey of office etiquette, 93% of people agree you should not do this at your desk. What is it? Clip your fingernails. Yeah, I have to tell you, I used to work with a guy. He's passed away since then, but he used to actually cut his fingernails and his toenails at his desk. And if you paid real close attention to the carpet, you would see that it's there. It was kind of disgusting. I like the guy. I mean, he was a really nice guy. But it was just the weirdest thing when you would walk in there. He would do that, and he would also pick his teeth. Not with the same device, because that would just been stranger altogether. Anyways, thanks for hanging out with me on this lovely Thursday. Sorry that I was not here yesterday or earlier in the week, because, without a voice does not make me good at doing the radio stuff. So thanks for hanging out. I really do appreciate always being the best part of Safety FM and Radio Big, and that is the listener. At the top of the hour, I'll be going over to Radio Big to do the music stuff for the next couple hours or so. So if you would like to come and hang out, we would love to see you on the other side. If not, that's okay as well. I get it. If not, you can hang out here with Sheldon Primus on Safety FM and do the things that he does. Anyways, if I can't leave you with a deep thought for today, I would love to leave you with this one. Respect other people's feelings. It might mean nothing to you, but it can mean everything to them. Keep that in mind. Anyways, I know who you are.
Duh.
You know who I am. Love you. Mean it. Goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed on this podcast are those of the host and its guest and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of the company. Examples of analysis discussed within this podcast are only examples. They should not be utilized in the real world as the only solution available, as they are based only on very limited and dated open source information. Assumptions made within this analysis are not reflective of the position of the company. No part of this podcast may be reproduced, stored in a retrieval system, or transmitted in any form or by any means, mechanical, electronic, recording, or otherwise, without prior written permission of the creator of the podcast, Jay Allen.